All right, hey everyone, another soap video. So I thought I might do a little bit of experimenting here. What my primary goal was, I want to do a round soap. So I'm using a PVC mold, just a PVC pipe. It's about 12 inches, 2-inch diameter. And I've lined it, actually, this is from AC Moore, and it's a sheet. If you want to make your own stencil, it's just a blank sheet of plastic, basically. But it's thin, but not, but it's sort of thick enough that I think it'll hold structure. So that's why I use that. I was just going to do butcher's paper, but I thought I might try this and see how it works. And hopefully it'll also make it easier to unmold. The bottom I've just wrapped with press and seal saran wrap because it gives a nice tight seal. And so I think I want to make a round one, and so I'm doing a pretty small batch. And then I'm going to try an in the pot swirl. So I have some fragrance. I'm doing a white, which is just a half a teaspoon of titanium dioxide mixed with some oil. I have a yellow, which is a half a teaspoon of yellow dioxide mixed with some oil. And then in the middle, I did a 1/4 teaspoon of each, white and yellow dioxide, and mix them together. And so I hope to have, kind of a gradiated yellow color. Mix those separately, pour them back in the pot, and then pour them in the mold to sort of hopefully get a swirly effect. If I have some extra, I have some food grade extracts. And I kind of just want to see what happens to the soap when you add them. So I have some silicone molds already filled with some extracts, and then I might just add some soap batter to them just to see kind of what happens to the soap, and do they keep their smell, and what happens to the color, and all that good stuff. So we'll see. I don't know if I have enough. This is a pretty small batch, so I don't know if I'll have enough. And I also used soapcalc.com, which I love that site. That's fantastic. So here's the printout of the soap recipe I did. So you can just plug in all your numbers, all the different kinds of oils you want to use, select your super fat ratio. You can play around with the amount of fragrance what you want to add per pound. It's really cool. So I put in a recipe, and so just to go over it, we're using 10 ounces of olive oil, 4 ounces of castor oil, 8 ounces of coconut oil, and 2 ounces of cocoa butter. My lye and water, I have 9.12 ounces of water and 3.4 ounces 3.39 ounces of lye. Okay, and I guess the other experiment, I've been keeping my temperatures really cold, which has given me some just nice colors, and not gelling them and putting them in the fridge. My oil temperature is pretty low. It's around 70, actually I'm sorry, it's around 80. But my lye temperature is kind of cold right now because I mixed it with some ice, which took forever to dissolve the lye, by the way. I thought I was going to save myself some time, but I think I need like a mixture of ice and water because it just took forever to dissolve, so I didn't really save any time. And then I have some fragrance. I'm going to mix in the whole batch. It's a mixture of lemongrass and sage and citrus. So it smells really good right now. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to add my lye solution to my oils. And I've got gloves and goggles. And I'm going to keep it pretty thin because I think I'm still pretty slow at doing all this. So I want to have a little time to work with colors and stuff. Although I'd like to add my fragrance now to the whole batch. I still can see some oil, that's why I keep on stirring here. And I don't really have trace yet, so I wonder if having the temperatures a little further apart is kind of affecting things. Alright, that feels a little better. Alright, good. And I got trace. It sort of skipped thin trace and went right to sort of a medium trace. Alright, so I'm going to put my fragrance oils in later. I'm going to divide these up. And I'm just going to try and do kind of eyeball about a third in each one. And I am going to try and save some of this, maybe about that much actually. And I'll see if I can do my little experiment with the food extracts. I've read that you really can't use them, that they lose their smell, they discolor, but I haven't seen anyone actually try it. So I thought I picked up some really cheap extracts from Walmart, and then we'll see how that goes. All right. All right, so in my 3, I'm going to add my colors. So this is titanium dioxide in a little oil. This is the blend of the white and the yellow. And this is just yellow. All right, let me give them a stir. All right, they're getting kind of thick already, so I'm gonna try to move this along here. Okay. Alright, they're getting pretty thick already, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to keep going with my plan here. Alright, so some of the white, some of the mix, some of the yellow, Alright, they got pretty thick. But let's see how this goes here. I'm going to give them a little swirl, I think, in the bowl. Only because they got so thick. But I think I got most of it to work there. So I'm trying to go a little fast right now. Alright, so if you can see that, it got kind of thick. So I'm just going to give it kind of a little swirl before I pour it. I don't want to mix them too much because I want to see some of that distinction. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And into the mold it goes. Oops. Alright, this is going to be messy. Darn it. Well, I might not get the swirl I want. I'm going to switch over to this so I can kind of control it a little bit better. That's better. Well, and I didn't add my fragrance. Darn it. Goodness. Well, I had to work so quickly. I was afraid it was going to set and I wouldn't be able to get it at all. So this is why you wear gloves, because I kind of got this everywhere. But alright, let me see. Maybe I can add some fragrance. I'm probably not going to get the swirls I want. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might just save this fragrance for something else since I kind of messed up. Alright. Alright, I might also add some rubber bands to the bottom here. Just to hold this in place so it doesn't seep out. Okay. Alright, and then I have some soap left over. I'm going to put it in my my little cups here with some extracts. So that's chocolate. There's a lot. There's like 10 cc's. This is lemon extract. And then this last one is cherry. Again, this is just sort of for fun and to see what happens. So I mix those up a little bit. Ooh, that's a lot. That's not going to work. All right, so that was this one. The one cup has 10 cc's of the extract, and the other one has 5 cc's. So maybe the 5 cc one will work. I was more interested just to see what also happens to the, to the smell because of the soap. So we'll mix those up. This chocolate, well, it smells pretty chocolatey. They all have kind of that alcohol smell to them, that food extracts have. So it's not the best sort of fragrance in the world anyway, but they are cheap. So I'm curious if this will actually set up and keep some fragrance. Alright, the lemon, again, I think this is a lot. This is too much liquid. This is gonna not work at all, I don't think. But again, it's an experiment. We'll see what happens. So, right, sometimes we learn through failing. So, alright, I mix that up. I'm going to mix the rest of these up here. Alright, so I think that's it for today. I'm going to unmold everything tomorrow. As long as the circular mold kind of sets up, or maybe I might give that 2 days. Just to make sure I can get it out okay. And then I'll record the results of my little experiments and the circular mold. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. All right. Hey, everyone. So this is the follow-up to me making my round soap and my little experiment. So the little experiment, we'll kind of do that first, though. So if you remember, I used some food grade extracts that I bought at Walmart, really cheap, and I added them to some soap just to see what would happen. So first of all, I have to say I added way too much for such a. I just didn't even think about such a small amount of soap I was going to use. So these three had 10 cc's of the extract in, which is just way too much. They're all really kind of liquidy. They're starting to solidify, sort of, but there, I don't know if you can see that, it's sort of just liquid underneath and sort of a soapy top. The same with the chocolate. Interestingly though, the lemon is the one, it is actually solidified some, although it's sort of this weird jelly on the bottom. So I'm going to leave that one in there. The lemon one, with a little, these three back here only had 5 cc's in, so a more appropriate amount, even though it should have still been smaller. So as soon as I turned off the camera yesterday, the lemon had already seized up, so it hardened really fast. The chocolate and the cherry were still, I could still mix them. In fact, I used the little frother mixer to mix it better, but I couldn't do that with lemon because it had already seized up. So that's just interesting. I'm going to let this one in here and sort of see what it goes like, just because. For the other ones, like I said, the lemon seized up yesterday right away, so it's pretty hard all the way through, if you can see that. It smells pretty bad. It has a lemony quality to it, but it's not pleasant. It's very alcohol-y, and I don't know, it almost has sort of a spoiled lemon kind of smell to it. It's not good. This is the cherry one. So the cherry one has sort of an interesting color. If you can see that, it's not quite the just normal soap, but it's got sort of almost a pinkish hue to it. Or though maybe that could be the silicone mold. It's solidified all the way through. I can actually pick it up. It actually smells okay. I mean, it smells of cherries, and it has that extracty smell. It has that sort of alcohol undertone to it. But it smells pretty much exactly like the extract did. And then finally I have the chocolate extract, which also got pretty hard. Whoops. It turned the soap really dark. It has a chocolatey smell. It's pretty light, actually. Most of the chocolatey smell has gone away, and it also has that sort of alcohol-y undertone and something else, something I can't put my finger on, and it's not good. It definitely doesn't smell like a yummy chocolate. So I'm gonna let these sit just for a little while longer, although I think it's pretty clear that using the extracts in soap is not a great idea. But I'm gonna just let them sit and see what they do for the next 24 hours. If anything interesting happens, maybe I'll post another video, but if not, just assume that it's a terrible idea. So, okay. Alright, so that was them. Now, the real thing I went to do was actually making this round soap. So I have my PVC mold. I poured it in yesterday. I left it, it's a little over 24 hours. It's about 28 hours or so. And I did put a rubber band around the bottom because, as you can see, it did start to seep out the bottom, even though I thought the seal was pretty good. But not a lot. So I put some rubber bands on just to make sure it didn't get out of control, because that would have been a mess. Alright, so I'm just going to scrape off this extra globs that sort of are on the bottom of the PVC mold here. Alright, and let's see, I'm just going to give this a whack or two. And that slid out really easy. So I'm pretty happy about that. Trying to keep my counter clean here. All right, so I used that that film from AC Moore that you can use to make your own stencils, like if you want to stencil a wall. Now, it's not coming off too hard. I mean, it's not really, it's not real hard to pull off, but I don't know if you can sort of pick that up. But it does, it's not smooth. It has sort of a texture to it. It is still a little bit wet, so, I mean, that could have something to do with it. But I'm sure if I use my hand, yeah, I can smooth that out really pretty easy, actually. Okay. All right. Well, I plan to use this in another soap as an embed to my other soap, so I don't want to cut it all up right now, but I want to cut a few slices just to, or maybe the ends off, so I can at least see if everything was successful. It's much longer than I need anyway, so I want to try down here because I think this is where hopefully some of the good swirls happened. And it's still very soft, so I may need to let it sit anyway, but I don't know if you can see that. It looks pretty good, actually, kind of a swirly. I got some of the distinction between the white, the sort of middle yellow, and the darker yellow. Trying to get so it's not so light. You can see my kitty cats in the background are very interested in what I'm doing at the moment. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to cut maybe just a bigger chunk off this side. Okay, so that swirl, it's not real distinct, but you can see some. And like I said, I'm planning to use this as sort of an embed in a different soap. But so it's pretty good. I like it. I'm not too unhappy with it. And I think I'm going to let it, cure outside of the mold a little bit to firm up as well before I do any more cutting. So the ends look okay. I think I'm going to get some decent slices out of it and some that are not quite as distinct. But there we go. All right, so that's it for the round soap and testing those food grade extracts. And my next video will probably be making a soap with this embed, so check back for that soon. All right, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them. Thanks so much. Bye.